Today, we are with Mr. E. Sreedharan, also known as the Metro Man of India. He's the newest entrant into BJP and is fighting and contesting from Palakkad. He's also projected to be the chief ministerial candidate of BJP. So, sir, I want to ask you, why Palakkad? Now, Neman is the one seat that BJP has and probably might win this election. Manjeshwaram was lost by just 89 votes last election. Kochi is where you're known for your metro work. So, why Palakkad?
Well, when BJP offered that I should stand for election, my condition was the constituency should not be far away from the place I was staying, that is Pandani. Then they said three options, one Trichur, Palakkad or Kochi. I said, you decide on that. Ultimately, they decide on Palakkad. So I accepted it.
And it's also your hometown, right?
Exactly. Palakkad, I didn't realize that when they offered that. I am a citizen of Palakkad district. I had my education in Palakkad, early education. So I have a certain link or certain bond with Palakkad.
And so what is it that attracted you to the Bharatiya Janata Party?
You see, my decision to join politics was almost sudden. The choice was between the three parties, UDF, LDF and BJP. UDF and LDF, I was totally disillusioned and frustrated. BJP, I could see after the Modi came into power during the last 7 years, lots of things have been done for the good of the country. Security has been strengthened and the rating of the country has gone up in every area. Internationally, our image has gone up. And I thought the BJP has got to be strengthened further. And moreover, all along I had some sort of a sympathy, or I won't say sympathy, a fondness for Bharatiya Janata Party right from the beginning.
What do you think have been their major achievements now that they've come into power nationally? What are your biggest takeaways of what BJP has done so far?
The biggest is the economic position of the country has gone up very high. There are so many reforms have been brought out. GST regime and so many things. And most important I consider is India has become the fourth strongest, military strongest nation in the world, which we could not think of earlier.
Now, I want to ask you a little bit.
The enemies all around us. You see, Pakistan, China, and even Bangladesh is turning against us these days, I find. Nepal is turning against us. So we have to be very strong.
So I want to ask you a little bit of a personal question. How much of a role has religion played in your own life, in your own career? How much has Hinduism been an essential part of you as a human being?
See, I hail from a religious family right from the beginning. And my father was very religious, mother was religious. So religion was in my blood. But that is not the thing. Later on, I have changed to spirituality. I started reading Bhagavad Gita, studying Bhagavad Gita, studying Srimad Bhagavatam. So I have turned to spirituality, really speaking, meditation and things like that. So that has influenced my career tremendously.
Now, your campaign speeches are very focused on development and the developmental models that you want to bring in Palakkad and Kerala. But do you think the fact that BJP has always spoken and stood up for Hindus has been an essential part of you deciding to contest with the BJP?
It is wrong to say that BJP always stood for only Hindus. BJP is a party for all in India. Everybody is same for them. Only thing is they want to preserve the sentiments and traditions of every religion. So that way, Hindus being the major population in the country, Hindus get a little more attention. And what BJP wants is the traditions, the values, the principles of this country should be preserved.
And what I want to ask you then is, you've always expressed your opinion on the Sabarimala issue very strongly. You've said what BJP has done is right. Now, hypothetically, if the BJP had not had taken the stance that they did with Sabarimala issue and said that women must be allowed to enter. And with you saying that BJP is the only party that might bring in development to Kerala. Now, if hypothetically they are not supported, taken the stand that they did with Sabarimala issue, do you think you would have still contested with BJP, or would that have been a game changer in your decision to join the party?
Since I decided to join a political party, it would be only BJP. There's no doubt about it. There's no other choice for me.
Even if they had a different stance on the Sabarimala issue?
Exactly. Even then, I'll be only joining with the BJP.
Now, the BJP, and I know Aditya and I, we both stay in the north, and we've often had conversations about the imposition of Hindi in the south, and bringing in Hindi as a language. We've had Amit Shah say that as one nation, we must have one language and one identity. Do you think if BJP comes into Kerala, will that be an important part of what BJP will want in the south, in Kerala, and then largely in the south as well?
Certainly not. You see, these various governments have tried to bring Hindi to the south, and none of them have succeeded. You can start to even Mr. Subramaniam, who was the agriculture minister in those days, Nehru's time, he resigned on this issue. I don't think that is at all in the agenda of BJP.
So, on that note, and on that slight disagreement that you might have with the party, when you spoke to NDTV, you said that, there may be differences that I have with the BJP, but I am looking at the larger picture of what they stand for, and that's why I'm with them. Now, if I can ask you, what are these differences that you have with the party?
I don't think I mentioned that I have differences with the party.
I believe in an interview with Sneha Koshi on NDTV, you said that you do have minor differences with the party, but you're looking at the larger picture.
Oh, the minor differences are very small. For example, Kerala, there was some simmering at the top level of the party, which is not correct. They should patch up these differences and work as a single party. These sort of things only, not ideologically difference. Not ideological difference.
Regarding, beef consumption in Kerala, when we spoke to different BJP contestants, and I was watching an interview of yours with the News Minute, you did mention that. Yeah.
Why every media is wanting to take up this issue? It's beef eating, and these are such a minor issues, and they only want space for this sort of thing. I'm sorry, I will not answer these things.
So you would not want to answer the question regarding beef eating?
Sort of thing, which are negative way of projecting a person, projecting a party, which is not correct.
I'm not sure if it's negative, sir. I'm speaking regarding what some of the people in your party have said about beef consumption, and I'd like to know your stand on it, because it's quite a big topic, at least in the north. So we would like to know how the BJP in the north and the south would be operating. Will there be differences?
Well, I am not the person to pass a judgment on this. But left to me, eating habit is one's own choice. But whilst doing so, they should not hurt the sentiments and traditions of any other religion or any other party. That's all.
And so the beef festival is something that you're quite against. Do you think that if the festival is banned, but beef consumption continues, because beef consumption is a large part of the culture in Kerala, would that be okay with you if you were the chief minister?
Why are you still going into the same question? I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is the trend. We'll have to break up this.
All right. So we'll skip the question if you choose not to answer.
Coming only on talking on this sort of thing.
I personally think it's an important question to answer,
Why should it be?
because it's a big part of the legislation that BJP wants to bring in their states.
BJP is not wanting to bring the BJP still will leave their option, but BJP will not allow people to hurt or trample the sentiments and traditions of a particular community.
Okay, all right. So I'll move on. So we interviewed Mr. K. Sreedharan, who's also the candidate from Manjeshwaram. And when we spoke to him, as journalists, I want to start with just asking you. Now, love jihad has been an issue that BJP has spoken on a lot, and it's been brought in as a legislation in UP. Now, Mr. K. Sreedharan said that in Kerala, love jihad is an issue because a lot of young girls are being converted and taken to Syria and being asked to join the ISIS. He said that if we don't have a legislation like love jihad in Kerala, Kerala might turn into a mini Syria. Now, would you agree with Mr. K. Sreedharan and your colleague on that?
No comments.
Okay.
Again, you are bringing the same subject. Why?
So I think we as journalists, we have to.
Let us close this.
Okay.
You say, I can't understand this. Why are you wanting to put one person to another person? This is a party. I will be always an obedient soldier of the party. But now you want me put me to against Sreedharan?
No, I'm
whatever I
I'm
said.
not asking you against your colleague, sir. We're trying to see. Love jihad has been a conversation. So I think as a journalist, we're trying to understand what is love jihad, because it's not a concept in law.
Have you not understood what is love jihad so far?
I haven't, sir. So I would like,
I am not the person to teach you on that.
okay,
Yeah, sorry.
as a chief minister candidate of the BJP, I would be interested to know what you think of
But
such
why
an
don't you bring
important.
such constructive, positive things.
No,
Everybody coming from north is only on these two issues, I find. Everybody. But people from Kerala is not asking these questions. Why this phobia about love jihad and only meat festivals? And try to work up the emotions of the people.
All right, sir. We can move on to a different question if you would like to continue.
No, I have very little time left, please.
Okay.
You told me 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Already you have taken 20 minutes.
All right, sir. So
Two people are waiting.
I understand.
I must take my lunch and I can get back for my work before 3 o'clock. We are wasting time on such issues.
I don't agree that we're wasting time, but we can move on. That's fine. Another thing I want to ask you is, you've said that BJP is the one party that should come into Kerala because there's enough corruption and scandals in the other parties. But if, yesterday we saw in Indian Express that Mr. K. Sreedharan has almost 250 cases against him. So can the population of Kerala really count on BJP as being the party with absolutely no scandals or cases or corruption against them?
You see, have you gone into the 250 cases against Sreedharan?
Yeah, he does.
Foisted cases. They're all foisted cases.
All 250 of them?
Yes, every one of them.
He has 2 charges against assaulting women, 7 against murder. So all of them are
foisted. These are all foisted. You think these charges are more serious than the gold smuggling case of Pinari Vijayan?
Okay. So, sir, the other thing I want to ask you is, what are the developmental issues that you will be focusing on?
See, you waste your time on flimsy things. Important things will never come up. Now, it is time. I should not keep those people waiting.
All right, sir. Then we can stop. Thank you for taking the time out.
See, the fact that I accommodate you to come to my house,
Yeah.
don't misuse this privilege.
I think
Because you are
journalists,
media. I know, the media is
we
always
have to ask questions.
ask questions, but ask constructive questions.
Of course,
Not
sir,
this
but
sort of controversial questions.
I tell you, sir, there's a reason why journalists from the north do ask these questions, and it's because it is a large issue in the north.
Then you ask people in the north.
But
Why-
as
why
a
a per-
party who's
why a-
trying to be in
why a
power,
person of-
especially nationally, don't you think it's important
No.
to have some consensus on
No.
these issues?
I will not be able to solve these issues anyway.
Because the people of Kerala are worried. We've been talking to a lot of people. They are worried that, beef
Yeah.
consumption will be an issue here. Love jihad will be an issue. The Muslim community is worried. So, as a leader, I thought you'd be able to address those anxieties.
There may be reason. If BJP government takes a decision on such matters, there will be a valid reason for those things. I can tell you that.
Can we not talk about that, sir?
No. No.
Because I feel there are fears that people have and should be addressed. All right, sir. Thank you for your time. So that didn't go well. We just stepped out of Mr. E. Sreedharan's house and he walked out of the interview midway because he felt that we were asking too many negative questions. In fact, I think he's been asked these questions a lot by journalists regarding love jihad, beef consumption and the Sabarimala issue. He said they were negative questions and he would choose not to answer them. But these are all 3 issues that he's spoken about very strongly during his campaign and also spoken about very consistently in the lead up to the assembly elections on April 6th and his reasons for joining BJP as being these 3 issues as well, along with developmental work. Now, Aditya and I have been spending time traveling across Kerala for the last 2-3 weeks. And, we've been talking to people on the ground. And there are concerns among people, among Muslims, Hindus and Christians about what will happen if BJP comes to power by any chance. Will there be more religious animosity? Will the love jihad legislation come into place? Will there be a ban on beef in Kerala? And we felt as journalists it was important for us to address these questions, which is why we posted to him. Now, Mr. E. Sreedharan, like you saw, refused to answer these questions and walked away. This is Nidhi, Suresh and Aditya Varier for Newslaundry.com.